Hello, dear students. Today I will be narrating Julius Caesar, Act 1. Now, let's start. Scene 1. The streets of Rome bustled with noise, laughter, and the clatter of footsteps. Shops were open but half forgotten, because most people had abandoned their work. Crowds of citizens filled the avenues, streaming toward the main square, eager to celebrate Julius Caesar's recent victory. Flags waved, garlands hung across balconies, and the air was full of excitement, almost like a festival. Some men had put on their best tunics, while others wore plain working clothes, but all shared the same energy: joy for Caesar's triumph over the sons of Pompey. At the edge of the crowd, two Roman officials, Flavius and Marullus, both tribunes of the people, pushed their way through. Their faces were tight with disapproval as they watched the citizens abandoning duty for celebration. "Go home, you idle creatures," Flavius barked, raising his hand to stop a group of men carrying flowers. "What are you doing in the streets today? Isn't this a working day? Don't you know you're supposed to carry the signs of your trade when you walk about? Where are your tools?" The men shifted uncomfortably, but one of them, a carpenter, dared to speak. "Sir, we are taking a holiday to rejoice in Caesar's triumph." Marullus frowned deeply. "Why should you rejoice? What cause have you to celebrate his victory? What exactly has he conquered? Answer me that." Another man, a cobbler, grinned mischievously. "Sir, I am only a mender of bad souls." Marullus's expression darkened at the pun. "You, sir, are a saucy fellow." But the cobbler laughed, unwilling to be cowed. "I mean no harm. Truly I mend shoes. But today I've come to mend souls, to cheer up those who are downcast by Caesar's success. You see, if I mend bad souls, then I also mend bad souls." The crowd chuckled, but Flavius waved them down impatiently. "Enough of this nonsense. Tell us honestly, why have you left your shops? Why are you walking about here instead of working?" The cobbler replied without shame. "To celebrate Caesar's victory. We have brought him flowers to honor his return." Marullus's anger flared. His voice rose above the noise of the crowd. "You blocks, you stones, you worse than senseless things! Oh, you hard hearts, you cruel men of Rome! Don't you remember Pompey? Many times you climbed up on walls, battlements, towers, even rooftops, just to see Pompey pass through the streets of Rome. You shouted for him until the Tiber shook with the sound, and now, without a tear for Pompey's death, you decorate Caesar, the very man who defeated Pompey's sons. Shame on you." The crowd grew restless. Some lowered their heads. A few began to slip away quietly. Flavius pressed the advantage. "Go, run to your houses, fall upon your knees, and pray to the gods to stop this madness, or punishment will fall on all of us." Ashamed, the citizens began dispersing. The excitement in the air faded, replaced with a nervous silence as the festival crowd melted back into the side streets. When the square was mostly empty, Flavius turned to Marullus and spoke more calmly. "See how quickly they scatter like guilty dogs. Let's do the same. We'll pull down any decorations from Caesar's statues that we find along the way. We'll strip the streets of these triumphal ornaments." "But it's the feast of Lupercal," Marullus reminded him. "Are we allowed to do that on a holiday?" "Yes," Flavius insisted firmly. "We must. These feathers plucked from Caesar's wing will keep him from flying too high. If we let the people make him soar, he will think himself greater than Rome itself. If we pull him down, he'll remain at the level of ordinary men." With that, the two tribunes split up, each heading to remove Caesar's decorations from the city. The empty square echoed behind them, the sound of celebration silenced, for now. Now we are moving to scene 2. The next day, the city of Rome swelled with people once again. It was the festival of Lupercal, an ancient celebration meant to honor fertility and drive away evil spirits. Drums and trumpets echoed through the streets, young men ran races, and priests prepared sacred rituals. Through the crowd came Julius Caesar himself, surrounded by his loyal followers. Mark Antony, Caesar's devoted friend, walked close to him, stripped down for the traditional race. Behind them came Brutus, quiet and thoughtful, and Cassius, sharp-eyed and restless. Casca, a blunt-speaking Roman, also joined the company. As Caesar approached the bustling square, a man pushed forward from the crowd, a soothsayer, a fortune-teller with a wild look in his eyes. He raised his voice above the noise. "Caesar!" Caesar stopped and turned. "Who calls me?" "Beware the Ides of March," the soothsayer warned solemnly. Caesar frowned. "What did he say?" Brutus repeated softly. "He said, 'Beware the Ides of March.'" Caesar waved his hand dismissively. "He is a dreamer. Let us leave him. Pass on." The crowd surged forward again, and Caesar moved with them, laughing off the warning. Antony prepared to run the ceremonial race, as tradition demanded, while Caesar ordered him, "Forget not, Antony, to touch Calpurnia as you pass her. It is believed that the barren touched during this holy chase are freed from their curse." "I shall remember," Antony answered dutifully. When Caesar says, "Do this," it is performed. With a satisfied nod, Caesar gave the signal, and Antony rushed to take his place. The crowd followed, leaving only Cassius and Brutus lingering near the edge of the square. Brutus stood apart, his face clouded, his thoughts heavy. Cassius studied him closely. He knew Brutus loved Caesar, but he also suspected Brutus carried unease about Caesar's growing power. "Brutus," Cassius began gently, "I've noticed lately that you've been distant. You've seemed cold and withdrawn from your friends. I hope this is not personal toward me. If I have offended you, tell me so I may clear it." Brutus shook his head. "Cassius, it is not you. I confess I have been troubled, caught up in personal thoughts and inner struggles. Don't mistake my sadness for unkindness toward you." Cassius placed a hand on Brutus's shoulder. "Then I am satisfied. Yet, Brutus, allow me to ask you, do you see what is happening? Do you sense what Rome is becoming?" Brutus sighed deeply. "Cassius, I love Caesar, but I fear he may desire too much power. I would not wish him to be king." Cassius's eyes gleamed. "Ah, you feel it too. Brutus, I was born free, just as you were. Caesar was born no greater than us. He eats, he sleeps, he suffers sickness like any man. And yet, today, he towers above us like a giant while we creep in his shadow." He leaned closer, voice burning with passion. "Think of the times I saved him from drowning in the Tiber. Once, when he challenged me to swim across the river, he grew weak and cried, 'Help me, Cassius, or I sink.' And I, no stronger than he, pulled him to safety. Another time, in Spain, he fell ill and shook like a sick girl, groaning and calling for drink. And this is the man who now is lifted up like a god, while you and I, noble Romans, must bow before him." Brutus listened, his heart torn. Cassius pressed harder. "Rome is no longer Rome if it lives under one man's rule. O Brutus, our ancestors would never have suffered it. They drove out the Tarquin kings to ensure we should never bow to one ruler again. And now shall we make Caesar a king?" Brutus hesitated. "That troubles me deeply. Yet I must confess, I love Caesar. He is my friend." Cassius's voice softened. "I do not ask you to hate him, only to remember your duty to Rome. For if Caesar grows too powerful, Rome itself may fall." Before Brutus could answer, a loud shout rose from the nearby crowd. Both men turned. "What was that?" Brutus asked. "I fear the people are choosing Caesar for their king," Cassius muttered. Another cheer rang out, louder this time. Brutus winced. "That would grieve me." "Yet you do not want it, do you?" Cassius pressed. Brutus shook his head firmly. "No, I do not want Caesar crowned. But for now, Cassius, do not press me further. I will think upon what you have said. I will consider it carefully. For the good of Rome, I must." Cassius smiled faintly. "That is all I ask. Think upon it. Meanwhile, I shall continue to work." Soon after, Caesar returned from the square with Casca at his side. His face looked pale and troubled, though he tried to appear strong. Cassius nudged Brutus, and they stepped aside to watch. Caesar whispered something to Antony, then glanced back at Cassius. His voice was low, but Brutus and Cassius caught fragments of it. "Yond Cassius has a lean and hungry look," Caesar muttered. "He thinks too much. Such men are dangerous." Antony smiled. "Fear him not, Caesar. He is noble." "Would that he were fatter, Antony," Caesar replied with a half-smile. "He reads too much, he watches too closely, he loves no plays, hears no music, smiles rarely. Such men are never at ease while someone stands above them. I fear him not, yet I wish he were less dangerous." With that, Caesar moved on, leaving Casca behind. Cassius quickly seized the chance. "Casca, tell us what happened in the square. Why were the people shouting?" Casca, blunt as always, rolled his eyes. "Why, they offered Caesar a crown. Antony did. 3 times he pressed it upon him, and 3 times Caesar refused it, though each time more slowly. The people cheered and clapped as if he had given them some great gift, but I could see Caesar longed for it. He waved it aside with the back of his hand like he wanted to seem humble. Then, when the crowd cheered again, he fainted. Fell down right there in the marketplace, foaming at the mouth." Brutus frowned. "Is it true?" Casca nodded. "I tell you, I would not lie. They say it is his sickness, the falling sickness, they call it. But I say, it is we Romans who have the falling sickness, for we fall down in worship of him." Cassius laughed bitterly. "And what did the people do when he fell?" Casca spat. "They clapped their hands, whistled, and threw up their sweaty caps, as if Caesar's collapse were the greatest spectacle of the games. By Hercules, I thought every fool in Rome had turned into a dog, barking for Caesar." Brutus shook his head gravely. Cassius leaned close to him again. "You hear it, Brutus? You see it with your own eyes, yet still you hesitate. Think upon it. The voice of Rome cries out for you." When Brutus departed, Cassius remained with Casca. His mind worked quickly. He muttered to himself, "Caesar must be brought down. He soars like a bird on borrowed feathers, feathers plucked from us, his supporters. If we clip them, he will fall." That night, Cassius began his scheme. He would forge letters in different handwriting, as if from various Roman citizens, all speaking of Caesar's ambition and all calling upon Brutus to save the Republic. He would drop them in Brutus's house, so that when Brutus discovered them, he would believe the people themselves desired his leadership against Caesar. Cassius smiled to himself. "So shall I work upon this noble man, who loves Caesar but loves honor more. If Brutus joins us, the cause will be made strong. For what better face for treason than Brutus, Caesar's beloved friend?" Now coming to scene 3. Night had fallen on Rome, but peace did not come with it. A furious storm raged across the city, filling the streets with terror. Thunder cracked like the anger of the gods, and lightning tore the sky in white-hot flashes. The rain fell in sheets, drumming on rooftops, flooding alleys, and sending citizens to their knees in prayer. Casca stumbled into the streets, his cloak drawn tightly about him, but the storm seemed to seek him out. He raised his arms toward the heavens, fear and wonder in his voice. "O gods, this is no ordinary storm. Never in all my life have I seen such dreadful sights in the skies. You hurl fire upon the city as if you mean to burn it to ashes. Is this anger against the world, or some omen for Rome herself?" Even as he spoke, he had seen things that filled him with awe and dread. He recalled them aloud, as if speaking could make sense of them. A common slave held up his left hand, and it blazed with fire, like 20 torches joined together. Yet the flesh did not burn. I saw a lion in the Capitol itself, and it glared at me, but did not attack. On the steps of the marketplace, 100 pale women swore they saw men walking the streets, their hands aflame, yet untouched by the fire. And an owl, the bird of night, sat hooting and shrieking in the marketplace at noon. "O Caesar, these are warnings. Heaven itself declares against you." At that moment, Cassius emerged from the darkness, his face lit by the flashes of lightning. Unlike Casca, he showed no fear. Instead, he seemed almost defiant, his chest lifted as though he challenged the heavens themselves. Casca greeted him in a shaken voice. "Cassius, do you see these things? Does it not strike fear into you? Never has Rome seen such wonders. Surely the gods are angry." Cassius scoffed, the stormlight flickering in his eyes. "Casca, you are dull. These things frighten only the weak. I walk through the storm, baring my chest to the thunder, daring the lightning to strike me down. For I know this tempest does not rage without reason. It is the gods warning us against a monstrous man." "You mean Caesar," Casca said quietly. "I, Caesar," Cassius replied fiercely. "Why do you think the heavens blaze so strangely tonight? It is not against ordinary men. When beggars die, there are no comets seen. But when a mighty ruler falls, the very heavens flame forth to mark his death." Casca shivered, not just from the rain. "It seems to me, then, that Caesar intends to wear the crown tomorrow. The senators are ready to make him king." Cassius clenched his fists. "Then woe to us all. Casca, Rome has suffered under weak rulers before, but never has it bent its knee to a tyrant. I would rather kill myself than live under Caesar's rule." His words burned hotter than the lightning above. He turned his face to the storm and cried, "Why, man, he is no greater than you or I, yet he struts as if he were a god, while we bow like slaves. I tell you, Casca, I would bare my throat to a sword before I would ever call Caesar king." Casca stared at him, wide-eyed. "You speak boldly, but what can be done? He has the people, and tomorrow, the crown." Cassius's expression hardened. "There are many who hate him, many who burn with the same anger as I. Even now there is a band of us, sworn together, ready to act. And mark this, we need Brutus. He is noble, beloved by Caesar, and honored by the people. If Brutus leads us, the people will call it justice, not murder." Thunder cracked again, shaking the ground beneath them. At that moment, Cinna, another conspirator, arrived, his cloak dripping wet from the storm. "Cassius," he called, "I've been searching for you. The rest of the men await your word." Cassius clasped his hand. "Good Cinna, tonight the heavens themselves arm us. Go to Brutus's house. I have forged letters in different hands, praising Brutus and condemning Caesar's ambition. Throw them into his window, into his chair, even into his hand if you can. When he reads them, he will believe the people cry out for him to save Rome." Cinna nodded. "I'll do it at once." Casca looked between them, the stormlight flashing across his troubled face. "So it comes to this? You truly mean to strike Caesar down?" Cassius's voice dropped low, filled with grim resolve. "It must be so, for Rome, for freedom, for the honor of our fathers. If Caesar lives, we are slaves. If Caesar falls, Rome is free." Casca took a deep breath. Then he nodded. "Then count me in." "I will join you." Cassius clasped both men's shoulders. "Good. Tonight we are agreed. Tomorrow Brutus shall be won. And when he stands with us, our cause will shine like the sun after this storm." Above them the thunder roared one last time, as if the gods themselves bore witness to their dark oath. The three men vanished into the night, the storm raging on, as if the heavens themselves were warning of the bloody dawn to come. Dear students, now we recall some important moments across different scenes in this act. So, from Scene 1, the festive crowd. The play opens with commoners celebrating Caesar's victory. Flavius and Marullus scold them for their fickleness, reminding them of their former loyalty to Pompey. This shows early tension between the people and the Senate. Now again, from Scene 1, political warning. Flavius and Marullus remove decorations from Caesar's statues. This symbolizes the senators' fear that Caesar's ambition will threaten the Republic. Now, from Scene 2, Feast of Lupercal. During the festival, the soothsayer warns Caesar, "Beware the Ides of March." This is dramatic irony, since the audience knows this foreshadows Caesar's assassination. Caesar dismisses the warning, showing his pride. Again, from Scene 2. Brutus versus Cassius. Cassius persuades Brutus by questioning Caesar's rise. He appeals to Brutus's sense of loyalty to Rome. This conversation introduces themes of manipulation, friendship, and duty. Again, from Scene 2. Brutus's inner conflict. Brutus reveals he loves Caesar but fears he may become too ambitious. This inner struggle begins his path toward joining the conspirators. Another from Scene 2. Caesar's suspicion. Caesar privately tells Antony that Cassius looks dangerous. Yawned Cassius has a lean and hungry look. This shows Caesar's awareness, but also his overconfidence. Now from Scene 3. The storm. A violent storm fills the sky. Casca describes supernatural omens. Lions walking in the streets, men on fire, and ghosts. This reflects chaos in Rome and foreshadows the tragedy. One more moment from Scene 3, that is. Conspirators pact. Cassius meets Casca and Cinna. They agree to bring Brutus into their conspiracy. This decision is crucial since Brutus's noble reputation will give legitimacy to their cause. Finally, we came to the conclusion. Act 1 sets up the central conflict, Caesar's growing power versus the fear of dictatorship. Themes of loyalty, ambition, and superstition dominate the act. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed our journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel for more videos.